Hi, my name is Kim. I wanted to do a short video on my journey of becoming an HR consultant and also fractional HR leader. And I say both because I actually do both. So in my business that I have now, I have some clients that rely on me for advice, and I will, do an HR audit and put together my summary of my findings and what I think they should do, and then they take it and make the changes. But then I also have clients where I am their HR department. Maybe they only have 5 employees or 50 employees, and they don't want to hire a full-time HR person. I am that person. So I kind of do both. But about my journey started about, gosh, 10 and a half years ago. I was working in a job as an HR director. And I live up in an area called Truckee, California. That's you see Truckee HR. There it is, which is my logo for my business. And I didn't, and to be honest with you, maybe this is another video. I seriously had no idea what to call my business. And so I landed on Truckee HR thinking that I would just stay local because it's a big area and work with a lot of small companies in Truckee, around Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, all around kind of the lake. And I thought that'll be it for me. And no, now I'm businesses all over California, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. And but here I am still, whoops, this side, Truckee HR. But anyways, I feel like I can't change it because I don't know, I don't want to jinx anything. So like I said, back on track. I might get off track a little bit. I I was working at a company where, as part of being on the leadership team, I had to be on a board of directors. So I chose the Boys and Girls Club. And there was a fellow board member who worked at a school, a small independent school here in this area, in the Lake Tahoe area. And she said that their HR department was a disaster. They had nobody doing HR. They had an office manager, but she didn't have time to do it. And they had had a lawsuit recently and they really needed to get their HR stuff in order. So she asked me if I would dedicate, just work very, very part time on a monthly basis for them. And so I think I started about 10 to 15 hours a month. And I rewrote all their policies, did their handbook, all their job descriptions, looked at their org structure, just did all kinds of stuff like that over probably the next 3 months. It took me to do that whole project. And I absolutely loved it. They were so grateful. I mean, I just felt like a superstar, like a celebrity. That's how they made me feel because the stuff that I did, which to me and you, I'm sure as an HR professional, is like your day to day stuff. It's like no big deal, but they just praised me up and down, and it was just the best feeling. And I said, wow, this is the first time in my whole HR career that I felt like I had made a difference. And it was just the best feeling. And I said, gosh, if I could do this for a lot of other clients, it would just be amazing. People that don't have HR departments and they can't afford to hire one, but they still need HR support, especially being in California, since, as you know, if you're in California, is crazy. We have crazy employment laws and labor laws that come out every year, and it's really difficult to navigate as an employer, let alone a small employer that doesn't have a lot of experience in that. So I decided to do it. And I gave myself a goal. I said, you know what? I am going to give myself 6 months and I am going to work my butt off and try to find as many clients as I can to really to start my business and go out on my own and do consulting and fractional HR. So my goal was, after 6 months, I needed to make at least as much as I do in a month for and that's pretty hefty because I was in a pretty high level role. I was making really good money and also had some really good bonuses. So I took that into consideration as well. And prior to that, I had worked at Starbucks doing HR, overseeing the West Coast roasting plants. So that was another thing. I said I need to make more than I made there in working in a corporate environment in HR. So I gave myself this goal. I really put the hammer down. I started networking. I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I started reaching out to auxiliary type businesses. So I reached out to bookkeepers and CPA, employment offices. And these are all like standalone bookkeepers, insurance brokers, anyone that I could think of that works with small businesses and that could potentially come across a client that they could refer me to. And to this day, that is the number one way I get clients. I probably get now at least 3 to 4 new clients every week based on this referral. And I also refer clients back to them. So it's just a win win situation for both of us. So yeah, so that's kind of how it started. It's evolved so much, and I really want to share my journey here on YouTube and really teach people that it's not that hard. It's scary, of course, but it's not hard. You don't have to be certified. You don't have to have tons of years of experience. I have somebody that I coached, and she's only been in HR for 2 years and she loves recruiting. And so she's doing recruiting on the side for companies and just making a lot. Like, gosh, I think last month she made an extra $8,000 on top of her full-time job in HR. So it can definitely be done. And so I hope you'll subscribe to my channel because going forward, I'm going to give you all kinds of free tips and show you how you can do it as well. And you can do it. You absolutely can. If I could do it, anyone can do it. And yeah, so I will help you do that. So again, subscribe and look forward to seeing you in the next video. I hope to drop a new video, one each week, maybe more, depending on my schedule. But I love doing this and I love sharing my expertise with others. So I hope you will follow along. Thanks a lot. Bye.